really messed up, I guess.
Hi, I'm Sachi. I work as a freelance copywriter for agencies, and I was asked to be here because apparently I have perfect personification of the quarter life crisis.
Hi, I'm Aih Mendoza. I'm a advertising copywriter and a freelance filmmaker and an improviser. And I think I'm here because just like Sachi, we're at that sort of age range where that quarter life crisis tends to sneak in.
Hi, I'm Ella. I am a freelance illustrator and I also make stationery. I think I'm here because I talk about my struggles as an artist online most of the time. So I think I was invited so I can share my experience with fellow creatives.
Hi, ako si Rod Marmol. I'm the creator of Utot catalog. I write hugot, puro kababawan at kalaliman, halo-halo. So I guess nandito ako kasi aside from sobra ko na-enjoy yung sadness of quarter life crisis, I get to help other people then enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Rob Cham. I am a freelance illustrator, comic book creator, and friend. Yeah, let's go with that. I am 26 years old. I think I'm here because I seem sad online. I'm not sure. You guys need to, what do you think? I don't know the reason, but let's go with maybe I have some sort of, okay, I don't want to admit I'm sad. I'm sad.
It's a question of why we're here.
Why do we think we're here? Okay, so 5 to 10 years ago, did you think you'd be here? And did you think you'd have a quarter life crisis? I think that was the question.
5 to 10 years ago, nagsistart na ako sa quarter life crisis.
Yeah.
Kasi ang expectation ko, mga hanggang 60 lang ako. So yun yung quarter ko. Mas idealistic ako nun kasi probinsyano, I was hoping to get in sa gusto kong university. So parang, tapos ako pa yung lumaki sa Starstruck, Star for, ano yun? Yung mga star searches. Kami yung generation na yun. So everything's so ideal. Parang you just have to perform and you'll get that reward in the end. Pero parang, ang gulo niya once you experience it, once you go through college, work, hindi siya as simple as showing up, beating other people, and you'll get the prize. It's not always as simple as that. So yun, mas yun yung learning mas iba-iba yung ruta as you go through life.
I think for me, I definitely didn't think na this is where I would end up. Especially because, I don't know, at the time, I really thought like, medyo mayabang pa ako at the time before, so I was like, I'm going places, yung mga ganun. Yes! I was already feeling, my own struggles, but that's because of like other issues, which I think we're gonna discuss later, mga mental health, ganun. But I wasn't really particularly feeling in quarter life, ganun, where's the direction that I'm heading. But I also think as part of yung upbringing namin, it was mostly like our parents were more free-spirited. You can do anything. We're not even gonna tell you what you should do, which sounds like a good thing, but at the same time, you're kind of just thrown out there, and you're like, oh, what do I want to do? So I didn't really have this semblance of parang, ito na, this is the set direction. But I don't know. This isn't probably not.
5 to 10 years ago, I think I was hoping I would have had it figured out by now. But I think I just like to think that I figured some of it out, but it's just a different sort of confusion from where I was at that time. And I think that quarter life crisis, it's not really like set at what age, but it definitely does set in pretty early, and it doesn't fix itself overnight. And it actually grows and becomes more monstrous, and it grows like tendrils. The older you get, the more pressure there is.
Yeah.
So, gee, I don't even know.
Cheers.
Yeah.
5 to 10 years ago, I wasn't even thinking about where I would be. I think I'm incapable of long-term planning. So the longest I've planned is 6 months. So ngayon, medyo masaya na I'm doing what I love, things like that. And I just feel grateful na I have the chance to do what people say they want to do. So I think I'm at the tail end of my crisis because I've figured things out already. Pero the process of getting to this point was very frustrating then and very exhausting because I have to think about making a living, and I have to figure out my purpose and things like that. So 5 to 10 years ago, na-anticipate ko na I would be going through that self-evaluation mode. Pero now that I'm moving away from it, parang I realize na it's something na helpful for my growth as a person. So I feel so old saying all those things.
It was 5 to 10 years ago, right? I can say 10 years ago, I had no idea I'd be in the creative industry. I had the idea that I would become an accountant. Yeah, so what I knew was I needed a degree that I could fall back on and just do my art thing on the side. And that what's more important is I keep myself stable, and then I would do the art thing. But while I was in college, I was doing the art thing that I still wanted to do it. So I still had a quarter life crisis where there was this expectation of, can I do this, can I do that? A question I often get is, do your parents approve that you are in the creative industry? Because I'm Chinese, and then Great Wall. Yeah, but they didn't say if there was money. They were they supported me actually. They helped me pay for my rent while I was figuring it out, while I was freelancing. So I'm thankful for that. And when they saw that I had an interest in art, that helped me a lot. Anyway, but I'm saying your friends, your family, that's kind of like what pushes us towards this, I guess. That our interest, we find other people to help us go towards that direction.
I was personally introduced to the term quarter life crisis because there was this John Mayer song called Fly Georgia, where he talks about, am I living my life right, and I'm going through a quarter life crisis. So that's essentially when the term came afloat to me. But I think just as a concept, you see all your peer groups going through, even if they don't have a name for it, they all go through that. Even just as early as choosing a course for college, it's always, that panic. Where am I going? What am I doing? And there's that familiarity because it's kind of like, when you haven't studied for a test, and then someone like, have you studied for it? And they're like, no, and then you feel better. So there's that that discussion. So it's a collective thing, I think, at least between me and a lot of my peers. It was an air of uncertainty that was apparently now, I guess, the quarter life crisis.
I don't remember the specific publication, but I remember reading an article about it. And I'm not even sure if I finished it, to be honest. I was like, I don't know this. It's fine. Tagal pa naman yung mga ganun. But then, if everyone that I've been exposed to, I feel like, and older peers and stuff like that, you see, like you guys said, na nakikita mo naman na, they're going through it. It's sort of, obviously each experience is sort of different in its own way and unique sa experience na. Pero there's like a theme, a running theme na I figured na, ito na yung quarter life crisis, and it does happen. And then the more na you're near that age, the more na you feel it even closer because yung mismong age group mo na and everyone's starting to get it, you're like, oh my god, this is the one. Ito na siya.
I first encountered the term sa isang book, sa book sale. So, I got the book and I read it, and hindi ko siya masyadong pinansin kasi sabi ko, sa US, meron siyang mga studies sa mga students sa US, ganyan. So, sabi ko, hindi ako makarelate. So, hinayaan ko na rin yung book. So, meron silang identity crisis pa yung tawag ko before. So, nung pumupunta na ako sa age na, parang nararamdaman ko na rin, parang ganito ba yung nararamdaman nila before? Parang, is this it? Is this yung quarter life crisis nga? So,
the way I think about a quarter life crisis is we have all this time to figure it out. That not everyone's supposed to get it right away.
Right.
And you don't have to get your dream job right away. You have to just do something to keep you afloat. And I think that's where a lot of unsatisfaction is, where you think after college your potential's gone,
Right.
when your potential is just there. It's potential. It
Never
could
goes
be
away.
something.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go away. I mean, you have to do other stuff because you have to live. So you have to take a job at a call center. That's fine. You have all this time to pursue other stuff. So I think that's where this quarter life crisis comes in, where we're all dissatisfied with the options that we have because we want more. But
Right.
given that we don't know anything, we can't get to that point yet. We're always rushing towards getting towards the results. So I'm just thinking about what causes this,
Yeah.
like anxiety in us, and that's it. We see people we admire, we wonder how they get there, and we ignore everyone else when we're everyone else, and we should just. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have a quarter life crisis. I'm saying it's fine because we want what we want, and sometimes we can't get it, and that sucks.
Ako, coming from that, parang pinaka naging tangible sa akin yung quarter life crisis. Mas baligtad sa akin kasi sobrang competitive ko ng college. Hindi ako grade conscious, pero ako yung tipong lahat ng recitation.
Yeah.
Pag kailangan ng group work, ako na gagawa lahat, ganyan. So marakit na ako. So right after college, I got my dream job. After mga 6-7 months, sobrang ko lang lungkot kasi parang shit, assistant director ka na, so you're just one step away from being a director, yung dream mo. And yet, hindi mo makita sa puso mo yung, bakit ako malungkot? Bakit hirap-hirap ang pumasok sa trabaho? Okay naman sweldo mo. You get to be with important people na dati na-admire mo lang. I think dun yung quarter life crisis sa akin. Kasi parang buong college, sure na sure ka sa lahat. You're
Right.
alam mo yun,
Yeah.
overflowing with wisdom. You hear different people talk about life. Then suddenly, wala ka ng sagot. Then suddenly, I just don't know why I feel this way. And because of that, I had to quit nang walang plan B. Kasi
Yeah.
parang sabi ko lang sa director namin, mag-quit na po ako kasi may work po ako abroad. Pero wala. Walang work sa abroad na nangyari. So, sobrang 6 months, ako lang ako naiyak almost every night. Yun yung quarter life crisis for me, na wala ka ng sagot for the first time in your life. Galing ka sa how many years of education eh.
Yeah.
Diba, laging may answer sa lahat, laging may solution.
Right.
That's
Then
true.
biglang, nga.
I think relating that to something that Sachi mentioned earlier, that quarter life crisis comes from that disillusionment that when you're young and you think that you are going places, that
Yeah.
you have this target, that bullseye, this graduation, and suddenly you're there and you think you know everything, but then suddenly you don't know anything. You're a small fish in a big pond when you've graduated or when you're starting to chase your dreams or whatever. And it doesn't help that you have all the like social media and the like your metrics of success are now
Yes.
painted in like the photos that
Real
your
time.
friends are
Yeah.
posting. You're like, oh, my batchmate from high school is now abroad and he's doing the thing that he said he would do, and I'm eating chips on my couch. And suddenly there's that disparity talaga
Yeah.
of what you think you should be and where you are right now, and it could be you're punishing yourself. A lot of our friends punish themselves, and we punish ourselves for that.
We could say that this dissatisfaction, our quarter life crisis, comes from comparisons with our own peers and the previous generation,
Yeah.
and it's just we're trying to figure out ourselves in the world.
Just
Yeah.
to add on like what you guys said, I think part of yung disparity then is because like everything's so fast paced now.
Yeah.
So and like throughout our life in school, whether it's high school, college, pretty much even though no matter how independent we are, we're pretty much going by a timeline. It's always ito yung deadline, ito yung SEM break, parang ganun. And then when you're put out there na, suddenly you have to face now you're making your own timelines, and suddenly you feel like, oh my god,
Yeah.
now am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? So I feel like we're always going by this timeline of like, are we going in the right pace? And I think that's right.
Yes.
I think that's part of the problem, because I'm like, are we just putting a band-aid on it? Because I think we have a lot of questions na parang, is this even getting anywhere? Because I think a lot of it's like, I just don't want to waste time. No, we forget
Exactly.
that maybe like you were saying that it's not really a race. Now we have to remind ourselves, like, just take one step every day. But because we're setting our own timelines, it's easy to like, no one's really reminding you. parang it's fine,
Yeah.
you're going the right track because no one really knows because it's your own like journey, no matter how cheesy that sounds.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I feel like that's what the crisis is now. Why am I still doing this? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah, exactly. I think something key that you said was, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Because I think now when we have so many of our options laid out in front of us, it's kind of like you have that paralysis of your options.
Yeah.
You know, because growing up we were told you could be anyone you want to be. It's just, you know, just express yourself and say what you want. It's fine. We're gonna reward you for, you know, doing what you want. And now it's like before it used to be, okay, I'm gonna be like a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, or all those things. But now it's like, oh, there's such thing as managing a fashion blog, or there's such thing as doing this, and so many people are succeeding at those places. And you think that these are options that are open now for my life, and what if what I'm supposed to be actually doing is not something that I'm doing right now?
Yeah.
Should I give this up, and should I explore other things?
Yeah.
Am I wasting my time?
I think what's kind of jarring about it also is when we realize, because we've been told, you can do anything, always dream big, you know, they always like all the Disney stories. And then you realize the reality of things, and then you have to step back a little because you realize, what if I have to cut down my dreams to fit the reality? And then you don't know, is this wrong? Should I be cutting it down, or is it the wrong dream?
Yeah.
In the first place.
But I think that's true, because there are some people that when we look at them though, they're like you have these big pop stars, or they're influencers, or young super successful people, and they're like, just work hard and do what I did and you'll get there.
Yeah,
but the truth is, you don't. It's
And
not
you
the
shake your
same
head.
for everyone.
They have all the privileges that are
Yeah.
afforded to them.
But also, like, you can do the exact same thing as another person, but it's just the opportunities aren't always there, because a lot of it is actually luck. And I think it's unfair for a lot of us to be mad at ourselves for not being lucky enough to have had connections with like a writer, a publisher, a director, or a photographer or whatever. But then these people are always telling us na, no, kaya mo yan, you can do it. But there is that solace in thinking, I just have to accept that maybe this is it, or this is it for now, and I don't have to lose sleep over if my thing is gonna come on later than other
I
people.
think it goes back to comparison also, because
Yeah.
we see everyone on our feeds na they're all successful and they're living the high life, and we fail to remind ourselves that what they post is only a part of their journey. So that's only the high points of their journey, and we don't know what they went through, or if they're feeling the same things we're feeling before they got to that point, na they're comfortable to share their successes. So
Yeah. That's true. You see their highlight reel,
Yeah.
and you're living your behind the scenes. So that's not fair to compare it at all, because you see like some people have like their finished script, but you don't see all the bad, crappy drafts that they had to go through.
What do you do if you like have Snapchat?
Well,
You get to see like, whoa, I saw.
I think a lot of people like just cut out the sadness from their feeds. And like, oh, I'm super fine, but like behind it, they're like,
I think that's
Following the wrong people.
Yeah, I think that's why pages like Art Dope, Birdie, Art Parasites, that's why these pages sell. Kasi parang for once you hear people of your age sharing how sad they are, how hard life is.
Yeah.
Di ba parang okay, so
it's fine.
Yeah.
okay pa pala ako.
Yeah.
Di ba? In a way.
Not as sad as
Super.
that guy.
yeah,
Okay
it
lang.
helps. It helps in, I think what helps in the quarter life crisis is things like this, where you're talking about, you know, I am not doing as well as people expect me to be doing, and that should be fine. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Ako
should
nga-
be fine.
Well-
Yeah, it should be fun. Personally, I think I'm still going through it. Although I feel like, because a lot of it is fluctuating. Like sometimes you think, oh, I'm getting better. I'm on the right path, and then biglang, okay, hindi pala. And then I think that's part of what makes it really frustrating, is because you feel like, ito na ba, like lagi na. It's gonna be this cycle na I always think I'm getting better, and then it goes back to like phase one, and then paulit-ulit, and that's what makes it feel worse the next time around, because you're like, oh, I've been through this. but this is like a different scenario, but it's the same. It makes you feel crazy, but at the same time, I feel like the way to get through it is to just accept na wala. You just have to keep going forward and just. I think part of it is overthinking that I have to do this in 5 years, I have to do this in 10 years, and I think I don't know what's helped me so far is to kind of just focus on like the now, which sounds like maybe cliche, but it helps me to just put one foot in front of the other and just sort of like decide that let's just plan what we need to plan. We don't have to like okay, gotta have like an award by 21 and I think a lot of it is also just I don't know like changing your lifestyle because like even if we like to read now, I'm just gonna binge on this because it helps. I mean, personally, I think I started feeling a lot better because recently I started changing up stuff in my lifestyle to be healthier. And it sounds super cheesy. I used to judge people but I'm like, oh, nag-iwala yung buhay niya kasi health buff siya. But then I feel like it really does help because it puts you in a mindset na, oh, I'm doing things to make things better and parang you're okay with certain routines. I don't know.
Well, I think coming off that, something that's helped me go through it is similar to what you said about focusing on the now, which is again how cheesy it sounds. But I think it's because when we grow up, going through school, we're taught that you have A and you have B, and you're just tunnel vision to get to the B and to get that goal, and that when you're there, you think that you're going to be happy, but are you happy? But the thing is, everything that makes that journey great, it's not the length of it, but the breadth and the depth of what was in between A and B. And I think it's about enjoying that journey of where you are now and saying that I'm not just going to focus on that thing, that B, that goal, but it's about everything that I'm doing in between. It's trusting the process. It's enjoying the journey, and because that's where the real. They always say it's not the destination. It's the it's the journey or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that's very true. If you guys see, Alan Watts said something about that life is a dance. It's not. The goal of a dance is not to get to the ending of the dance, or it's not to get to the ending of the song. Because otherwise, all songs would just be like a second, because that's the end, and you're like, oh, okay, that's my goal. It's that the process of the song. It's going through the motions of your dance. So you're enjoying the dance of life. Gosh, who am I? But we're enjoying that, I think, and that's what's helping me. Thinking it's okay. This is part of it. I am going through the steps.
Just working off what you guys said, it reminded me because I read this book by Carrie Fisher before in Surrender the Thing, and there was this part where she was talking about how a lot of the problems we have is because we're so focused on getting there. We so want to get there, and then when we get there, we realize we didn't really want it anyway. We just wanted the sort of the accomplishment, like, see, I got it in here, and I don't know. Just play video games. Lots of achievements.
You guys have complicated problems.
For us.
What do you think, Rob?
Numb the pain. Just talk to your friends. Have fun.
No, but yeah, agree.
Make something you like. That's
What you're proud of?
Tsaka parang isang trick pa, parang you really need friends outside your world. Alam mo yun, parang kunyari ako, pag nandito ako sa Maynila, nababaliw talaga ako, parang laging nasa race eh. Parang you have to do this, do that. Or every time I go home to the province, makikita mo, ibang struggles sila. Parang oh my God, ang daming nangyayari sa mundo. Lord, ang pinag-iisip ko. Parang kailangan mong maisip na ang dami-dami pang aspekto dito sa buhay.
Right.
Na para pag nakita mo kasing may ganung nangyayari sa kanila, na ilulugar mo yung sarili mo na okay, hindi ako dapat mabaliw na 2 years na ako nandito, 3 years na ako nandito. Kasi you have people na working their asses off for 20 years just to feed their children. Alam mo yun, parang nailulugar mo yung struggles mo eh. Yung ganun.
For me, what helped me get through my crisis was recognizing that I was in crisis mode. So I felt that I was going through quarter life crisis after I left my job to pursue full-time entrepreneur life. So my goal before quitting my job was to establish a business. So now that I had this business, that my dream was already achieved, I don't know what to dream of next. So that's what started my crisis. And when I recognized that I was having that problem, parang naging mas objective ako in thinking of the next steps moving forward. So recognizing that I was thinking about this and that I was not moving forward. So ano yung steps that I could take, small steps na I could take day to day that will help me get out of that crisis and figure out the answer to my question. So
I completely agree. Like, something at improv that they teach us is that you need to fail fast, because that's really the only way you get to do anything. So before, it used to be with writing, because I see it in my mind as the perfect script and I'm afraid to fail that idea of what I have of it, then I don't even try. I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna try. But then our mentors, they always, at improv, at least they always say, just fail fast. Because you're never gonna get there if you don't do 100 crappy versions of that one perfect version that you wanted. So that has enormously helped me. Just be like, yeah, I'll just exactly, I'll just do it. I'll just, it's better than not doing anything. I think, and to add to that, something else that we were really taught, at least in improvising, is that we're always obsessed with the performance.
And hopefully you get paid.
And hopefully you get paid, which is a whole different monster, because money...
I do like the idea of failing fast, because we're afraid of failure, like wasting time. But that's how you learn, where you learn more from your mistakes than doing it, trying to make something perfect.
Yeah.
If you get to a certain competency level, maybe you can try for perfection. No, it's because you're talking about improv, and one thing I remember, and okay, I'll talk about that later. But perfectionism is the death of productivity for me.
Yes.
Yeah, where you try to make this perfect thing that you do not grow because you're trying to do this one thing. Whereas if you do multiple things, you learn from each of those experiences. If you try to do something perfect right off the bat, like where it be a drawing, you're doing it's frustrating to think that people, because I know myself that I was there before, and I hate that I wanted to make something perfect and I wasted so much time that I think maybe I could have gotten somewhere even more if I didn't a lot faster. But no, it was a waste of time to try and make something perfect. Although right now I'm just, I still want to make something perfect. Yeah, but it's more of, this has to be better than the last thing I made, that I have to show growth. I'm chasing the high, as they say, not a drug user. I'm chasing the high of that, where it's, I have to get better, because that way I can stave off the sadness, because at least I can tell myself, this was better than the last thing I did. Yes.
Yeah. I think that sadness is also such a big part of the quarter life crisis. Because the crisis, I think the crisis is all about, I'm sad. I shouldn't be sad. I have to be happy. But that whole concept of being happy 24/7, that we're entitled to happiness, I think is kind of like a disease that so much of us, our generation, is addicted to. They can't accept that being sad is part of it. And that's also something that helps. If you say that it's fine to be sad, when you accept it, then it feels so much better. Because I think a lot of the suffering comes from trying to fight away the bad feelings. I'm not supposed, the world tells me I'm supposed to choose happiness. Write down 5 things that make me happy every day. But it's not. It's right. It's what kills you. You're supposed to, like what Rob said, you learn so much more from your failures. You learn so much more from being sad. And it's what makes you a whole person.
Yeah.
Just to add to that, because you're right, I totally agree that everyone's so fixated on why am I sad? And then we feel more frustrated, and even worse because we feel ungrateful. I shouldn't be sad. There's people who deserve to be sad, but I shouldn't be, but I'm sad. Why am I sad? And then it's I have to be happy.
And I feel like, I don't know, maybe it sounds like kind of dark, but I feel like when you allow yourself to feel that sadness, not necessarily wallow in it, but
Yeah.
just to accept that sometimes it's okay to feel sad, then it's easier to accept that it's also okay to feel happy.
Right.
It becomes more genuine because you're not forcing it.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people can't feel happy because they're like, is this the right amount of happy? Like,
Yeah.
I should be happier, I should be laughing about this. But I think if we accept that no, there's gonna be bad days. Sometimes you're not gonna know why you're sad. It's just frustrating. If you just accept it, then parang mas ma-appreciate mo ba yung genuine happiness? Because you already know
Yeah.
the feeling of sadness.
Yeah.
Like if you know it as a default, then you must ma-appreciate mo. Oh, hey, I feel good
Yeah.
today. This is
Yeah,
a good feeling.
you can feel all sorts of things. Happy, sad, horny.
Ako nga kaya super fan ako ng comedy Kasi maraming mga screenwriters that they agree na the hardest thing to write is comedy. Kasi comedy is taking something painful. Di ba kaya yung slapstick comedy, kaya pinagtatawanan yung imperfections sa mga tao? Because you take something painful and you find a twist to it and you laugh at it. So ako even on my page, yung Utot catalog, I always encourage people to find wit and fun and humor in their hugots. Kasi there are so many hugot pages na I think disservice siya sa mga followers niya kasi it only promotes plain sadness. Like parang mga tipong
Parang naghahanap lang ng
parang
kakampi.
oo ang mga post nila hindi ka na naman niya tinext. 100 shares, 100k shares. So parang ako pag sinabi mong hindi ka niya tinext at malungkot ka, ano yung joke doon? Isip ka na ng
Right.
joke kasi parang wala ka namang life is supposed to be sad. Alam mo yun? Parang hanapan mo na ng humor, that's the next step. Baliin mo na.
Exactly.
Di ba?
When they don't text, because they're dead.
Right. Comedy and tragedy.
I think the scary part is when they text and they're dead.
Not at all. No,
Yeah.
it feeds into it.
Yeah.
I think any industry will feed into it because somehow it's seen as a day job, and day job has become such a dirty word, right? Or just when you have a job and everything else seems off the beaten path, you're following dreams, but it's not. I don't know. Like a day job is great. It's a person who gives you money and gives you consistent things to do. Right? It's a
It's a
pretty good
routine.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm the only one here with a day job, that with a corporate, and
But we've all had day jobs,
Yeah.
right? Like, anyway.
But I think it does. On the like the grass is always greener on the other side and stuff. But the industry does parang it maximizes on your insecurities and on your struggles. Like, oh, this is this person who's creative and wants to do things. Let's give them money for it, but then use that for the benefit of this corporation. That's also like a sadness that's there. But on the other side, it's also, I guess, who but for freelancing could also be, I want to be able to do this consistently and be able to do it for a bigger picture and not just selling my own self. So on either side, there's that,
Ako content-wise, I think naman, nandun naman siya, naka-underline naman siya sa lahat. Kasi especially for film, ang teaching naman sa amin, you always write from your bubog. That pain, that wound na hindi mawawala ever. So, it's coming from that place na we all have that scar na hindi matatanggal ever. I think what the industry falls short, yung parang hindi siya tumatawid dun sa it's actually a medical case. Alam mo yun, it's actually something na hindi lang i-romanticize mo, you talk about hugot and you're good. For some people, it's actually something na kailangan ng gamot, kailangan ng tamang pag-asikaso. Doon hindi tumatawid Parang we acknowledge na yes, we're all sad, pero let's stay there. Parang ganun Ayaw nating masyadong i-formalize, ayaw nating gawing problema.
Yeah.
There's such a stigma against mental health.
Yes.
Yeah. I think there needs to be more of a conversation, definitely. And it's in a way na, because I feel like the stigma now is, if it's going to be talked about, it's just like a plot point in a way.
Yeah.
Na parang no one really wants to talk about it in a way na, I don't know, I feel like it's so polarized here. Now there's parang sobrang extremes. Like there's this side of people who think
oh, wala lang yan, nagagawin mo lang yun. Like, it's not, mental health isn't really a thing. Whereas on the other spectrum naman, other side of the spectrum, people are like, there's a stigma na, oh my God, luka-luka yan, patay, yung mga ganun. And there's no like healthy conversation about it na parang, this is what it is, this is how we can talk about it, and we're not using it for any personal gain or manipulation. This is just what it is.
Do you think part of the problem is we don't recognize it as a problem at all? Na parang inisip natin masyadong first world or something.
Yeah.
So parang in our culture laging sinasabi na work hard, ganyan. And maiahon sa hirap and something. Yun yung narrative natin eh. So parang saan papasok sa narrative na kailangan mong iahon yung pamilya mo sa hirap, saan doon papasok yung mental health. So probably we don't take it as seriously as we need to.
There is this thing that perpetuates it, where our mental health takes a toll because sometimes we have to work within a very tight deadline. So then we have OT. That's kind of the thing that you expect when you work in advertising, where you will be overworked, you will not have time for much of anything else. I know a lot of my friends who work in the advertising industry. Pretty much when we hang out, this is all the time that we have. So I have like that pressure of like, I have to make this awesome this time. But yeah, I wish that was addressed. Where would there be a need for OT if we could just maybe slow down?
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're all trying to ride the hype train. You know, when something comes out, the hashtag's hot, everything's so fast. And was advertising always this way, where you have to get something out just fast? Or even in the creative industry, where let's say anywhere, creative industry, any media, it has to happen fast, it has to.
Ako, dapat may solusyon eh. Kasi coming from TV prod, doon sobrang may, literal na may namamatay sa set.
Exactly,
Like, uupo lang, ay, patay na siya. Ganun, OA, as in dahil lang galing siya sa 3 shows. I think, sorry, sobrang sweeping generalization ito. But the shortcomings, galing talaga siya sa mga upper management eh. Kasi they're so afraid to rethink the entire process because it would cost them money, time, and it would acknowledge na may problema nga silang ginagawa.
Yeah.
Pero unless sila yung mag-reshape ng proseso, it won't really change it because all these people under them need money more than anything. So they would work, they would show up, kahit na may problema sila, they would deny it because they need to eat and all that. Pero kailangan baguhin talaga yung sistema because it works for other people, it works for other countries. It has been working since the 70s, 80s in other countries. Yung 8-hour lang ang shoot, ganyan. Why can't we do it here?
Yeah.
Kulang siya ng batas, kulang siya ng... Kunyari, kung may maglalobby against networks, sino magbabalita about those people? And the news sites are owned by these networks.
Yeah.
So, sobrang nakakulong tayo because you only have 2-3 players.
Right. I think there recently that has been a topic, I guess. We've seen it naman on our feeds, no, like people are coming together to kind of fight for better and more humane working hours for creatives. I think a lot of it is also coming from the how corporations or like the big businesses see the process of creative work. They don't, because it's not as clear cut as, let's say, accounting or finance. It's so easy to be like, drawing lang yan, ipasa mo yan like Photoshop lang yan, or like, well, those are just words, like why don't you just like type it up and send it to me tomorrow? I think there needs to be a little bit more of acknowledgement to the process and how much it actually taxes you. Because it's not easy, and a lot of pressure does come from that, the same day turnaround thing. I would just like to also say though that there are some people who, or some agencies that are making movements to this.
Yeah.
Like for example, at my company, we have a mental health leave, so we can use that for just days when we need to rest, and I'm super appreciative of that. Like, I've taken some of mine already. I think that's the sort of thing that needs to be spread out talaga.
I think to add to that, in like some creatives, while I do believe there should be a set time just to limit it, obviously, because nakakapagod. At the same time, I think what's hard about it is yung parang the expectation na you can just churn it out all the time, diba? And I think it's in the name that, you have to be creative and, like, honestly, we're just people. I mean, you can't always have, like, the genius idea, diba? So, yeah, I think, diba, minsan, I don't know, minsan you get it at a different time than they want it. Kasi parang, like, they expect this perfect outcome, pero it's because nga, like what you said, yung creative aspect, it's not like in accounting na, okay, so I'm just gonna type the numbers and, it's not just gonna come to you right there na, okay, I need to make a great idea, let me think about it right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as, I don't know, rigid.
Yeah, you can't poop it out. You're not a factory.
Yeah.
Tsaka may notion pa yung, especially the older ones, meron silang notion na ganyan talaga yan. Kunyari, kasi nung nasa prod ako, lagi akong very vocal ako about everything eh. Sabihin na sa'yo ng someone older, ganyan talaga yan eh. Ganyan na yan nung dumating kami. Tapos parang ako, so sinong pabago nito? Art is supposed to be the people.
Palitan?
Diba? Parang, yung ganun, parang talagang may generational thing about it eh, the process of working, especially sa creatives. Parang for them kasi parang bara-bara, let's go sa location, bahala na.
Yeah.
Parang feeling nila that's the most efficient way to do it. Parang, when in fact, it's about meeting, alam mo yun, mas intense sa pre-prod meeting dapat yung gawin for you to make sure na yung day of the shoot, minimize na lahat. Kinakalimutan na kasi feeling nila additional work yung preparation, sabak na lang tayo doon. Pero pag sumabak, lahat kayo mamamatay sa stress, sa pagod. It has to be changed. At sila dapat, ang way lang dyan, sila mag-start or hintayin natin mategi sila. And let's do it our way.
We get called entitled, but I mean, like, honestly, it's a sweeping generalization. I'm not gonna say that we're not all entitled, because I know that there are some,
yes, a lot.
some of us, some of people, or some peers, some people we know that are entitled to think that they need a certain amount of whatever. But there is a balance to be found where you are creating a healthy culture of where creativity can flourish and still be productive. Pwede naman yun eh. And actually, in the long run, it helps your people. It helps your creatives more when they're happy and they're healthy and they're enjoying working for you. That's what pays off, as opposed to like, oh, okay, she quit because she was miserable here. We're gonna get a new one, and then that just costs more money. But I think we're talking about working as creatives in the industry. So
I think kasi last year I started organizing meetups. So I get different creatives together and then we meet up sa isang place and then we parang mag-vent lang.
Nice.
So we just vent. So I think aside from yung problem sa upper management and yung client education na parang you need to know about our process, there has to be a dialogue among creatives also na parang ito yung standards na we have to build for ourselves kasi parang yung problems na natakal namin din is yung self-promotion and yung pricing, kung ano ba yung standards doon. And everyone's so open to discuss na, this is how you go freelance, this is how you book clients. Pero yung mga parts ng process na like how you price your artworks or how you deal with difficult clients, how you make your contracts, yung parts na yun hindi pa masyadong clear, and that's what makes people feel frustrated na they're not getting the most out of their freelance life or they're not booking the type of jobs that they want kasi they don't know the technical side of things. So I think aside from opening a discussion with the management and the clients, the creatives also, we also have to discuss among ourselves. Parang let's build the industry up instead na
And create awareness.
and minus the competition too.
yeah.
You know, because I think a lot of the crisis comes there. Like that pressure comes from, why is this guy agreeing to do it in a week. We all know this needs a month, but then that sinks the whole ecosystem. Is even with the pricing.
Yeah.
If somebody decides to go for half, and we all know that the fair pricing is so much higher, then all the clients end up going like, pwede naman, this guy gave it to me for like 10K. And then it makes everybody suffer. So there needs to be that cooperation with everyone. It's not competitive. It shouldn't be that badly competitive.
I think the hard part with that then is yung knowing na, because no one's sure of the standard because we're all trying to get the gig, but at the same time, hindi mo alam kung do I seem, is my pricing too desperate or is it too mayabang? Parang mahal naman ito. So I feel like we have to have sort of a more open discussion because I also think yung culture dito sa Philippines, medyo taboo to talk about financial stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah. At sobrang strong dito yung KKK, yung kilala ka pamilya or kaibigan. Like, it's very, hindi, you're my cousin, just write me it's fine. And then, you know that service you provide.
Mga favor.
Yeah, mga favor, diba?
An organization. I don't know.
Let's just work for foreign clients. Just leave. Move away. And then, where are the creatives? Oh, they're all away.
That'll teach them a lesson.
Yeah, no, that is not good. What's the question again? Make a hashtag. Guys, copywriters, sila. Let's think of a hashtag. Hashtag mental health. Hashtag fair hours. Hashtag tama na yan.
Ganda yung suggestion niya forming a group. Kasi, for example, in the States, yung Writers Guild doon, they're so strong, they're so powerful, they were able to stop all productions when they decided na hindi tama yung sweldo. As in, nag-freeze lahat. It has to be that strong. Because in reality, creatives, nasa backbone tayo ng lahat ng content.
Yeah.
We need that power. Pero for us to get there, kailangan natin yung work talaga to build it.
I think na kailangan yun, para kailangan mas i-discuss yung fact na, like you said, ito nga, creatives nga yung backbone. Kasi I think mas binibigyan ng importance yung other fields kasi parang sila yung mas execution or something like that na parang, I don't know, I feel like we fill in does that sound too like, we fill in everything? I don't know. Yeah.
We're the butter on your bread.
Yeah. I think, so that's one way to attack it. If you were going at a community approach, I think another one way to also have a discourse about it is to really put it out there content-wise. If we start creating material and telling the stories of these things that people are talking about currently, and not just about the pressures of being a creative, but the pressures of your quarter-life crisis or the struggles of mental health. We don't see those stories, or we don't see representations of that in media, at least not locally. Or maybe I live under a rock and I don't know about those things. But I would feel, I think, it would relieve me if I could be watching something that is telling the story of me and my friends, and I can say, yeah, I know that feeling. I'm so, like, it would feel so great to see an ad, a movie, a book, a film that's in the Filipino context that is about Filipino quarter-life crisis, Filipino mental health, Filipino creative struggles. And I'm sure somebody out there will make it.
Coming from that, parang maganda kung magsalita din yung creatives na nauna sa atin. Kasi parang sila yung generation ng mga tao na wala akong mahirap na dinaanan. Parang I got here because I'm good. Parang hindi nila gustong kalkalin, i-romanticize yung struggles. So kaya tayo lagi may illusion na paano kaya nila narating yun, they seem so happy. I mean, if they start talking about their struggles, feeling ko it would inspire us na, okay, so it actually happens to everyone. Hindi tayo special case sa millennials, entitled. Hindi, it's actually a phase sa lahat ng tao. Dapat sana may initiative din on their part.
Because they want to exploit us.
Keep them sad.
I think yun, if we start now with yung just opening the discussion, removing the stigma, creating yung community nga where we can all parang put the word out there. I think that will definitely make big strides in like the movement.
Yeah, I think it's a awareness.
Yeah.
You always see these articles that are like, why aren't millennials buying diamonds or buying these things, or like how if they want to create a world that works with them and with us in it, then it needs to be more welcoming of the struggles that we're going through. So it needs to, and I don't want to say kasi na they're consciously ignoring it. The other people on the other side of our struggle is like deliberately saying no. I think it could also just be like they have no idea. So it could be a matter of just telling them like, this is a real thing. Please look at this. And we could also be a little bit less defensive, because I definitely know too many millennials or too many of my friends who are very angry and they're like, no, they're the enemy and we have to fight them. And of course that's met too with aggression.
Yeah.
And it needs to be more of a to the whole world, peace, kumbaya. We have to be there and tell people like, this is a quarter life crisis is a thing. Mental health is so important, and you can't say na it was just like we never had that. You guys are making it up, but it's like we are talking about it because we don't want other people to grow up like how some of our parents grew up with. Maybe they went through these things and never had any help.
Yeah.
We can't. That's so dangerous, because we're just more, I guess, self-aware, and that's important. And that self-awareness can't be contained in our bubble. Be like, oh yeah, pat ourselves in the back because we know our struggles. We know we need to do something about it. Spread that message.
Yeah, there's that whole idea that since they had to go through it, we have to go through it too, just because they had to struggle, when it could be, let's make it easier for the younger people. I mean, it doesn't make it any less hard, it just, because everything is a struggle. But hey, if things are bad, why do we keep letting them be bad? Let's burn it down. No, we're not burning anything down. So we could just do what you said about, like, hopefully the old people are open to it. If we can figure out how to convince, okay, not old people, corporations, clients, the people who think that, the people we need to convince. Yeah, let's go with that.
Whoever they are.
Whoever they are. It's not about young versus old, because
Yeah.
it kind of is. Okay,
I feel like people just need to be more inclusive in general of each other, because we all have differences, and I think maybe part of why the older generation doesn't necessarily relate is because, I don't know, maybe they just didn't have a name for it back then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They think it's a
Also-
privilege,
Yeah.
I have 2 points. Una, parang we also have to commend those who are trying. Kasi parang it's so easy to talk about the shortcomings of people around us, di ba? Pero meron naman din nagtatry na pagandahin eh. There are smaller production houses, smaller agencies who are trying to innovate things. So parang we can celebrate those and support those. Another is, I'm excited for the industry to be bigger, for more players to be part of the competition. Kasi that's the only way na mas-shake yung mga malalaki eh.
Yeah.
And obviously naman, feeling ko, dadami talaga yung players because the platform is more open now, di ba? It's so easy to upload series, movies, there's so many festivals, grants. So, pag nangyari yun, feeling ko mas magre-rethink din. May isa pa pala akong point. Another point, maybe it would pay then to talk to your mentors or superiors. Alam mo yun, minsan kasi well-meaning naman itong mga taong to eh. Maybe they nasa ibang phase na sila ng buhay. So, talagang andali sa kanilang i-disregard kung ano man yung ini-emote natin. Minsan you just have to talk to them na,
Exactly.
I need this, I need that.
My boss actually came up to me a few weeks ago and sat me down, and I thought it was something work related, but then he really said to me, like, can you talk to me about mental health? Like, what is happening? Why?
Nice.
Like I have like so many parang mga pamangkins or so many like mga kilala that's going through it, and then they're wondering, is this an epidemic of our generation, and then or like what's happening? And I'm not sure if I have an answer, but I think that it's always been there, but this time we just know what it is.
Yeah.
I think also part of it is just, like you said, opening the discussion, just being open in general, because I feel like a lot of people right now are still afraid of taboo topics or whatever, and part of it also in the creative aspect, I think, is maybe just not being afraid to break the formula,
Because I feel like we're so comfortable in the formula na nasasama na din yun yung preconceived notions.
Yeah. And we need to help each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we're not gonna be able to get that discourse going overnight, at least with each other, things like this help. I'd like to believe, like when we talk to other people and bring it out there, and be supportive. Buy his comic books, watch your films, stuff like that. Because it takes that pressure off to know that you have that whole community of creatives, local young Filipino creatives that are there to say, we're fighting this fight with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, then the crisis is spread out amongst everybody.
Yeah. Just coming together instead of like pitting people against each other.
There's something that I kind of want to pimp out. Not my book, no. Do you guys know V Graphics? Si Russell Vergara, yeah.
Yeah.
He actually put up this thing called Better, where it's sort of this, he wants creatives like us to sort of help each other out, like a network, and also it's about mental health. And I'm not allowed to talk about his story, I think, but yeah, I think just check it out. It's on Facebook. Just look for Better, and then it's just about helping us out. So maybe he started that. So I think, yeah, I did not think it would go here. That we all need to band together, and I guess he's kind of trying to do that. I'm just pointing in that direction.